Am I the only one noticing here that every time there's an R-rated film that takes place in Boston, the actors have to use the word fuck and motherfuck or motherfucker 1,000 times? Motherfucker. Fuck that guy, that motherfucker, that fucking motherfucker. Fuck you. Hey, motherfuckers. Welcome to MaffmanJones Movie Reviews. I'm your host, John Maffio, and today's featured movie is Black Mass, directed by Scott Cooper, who previously directed Out of the Furnace last year, and also starred as an extra in the movie Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. Yeah, for a guy who was in a movie like that, he's directing some pretty serious films. This one stars Johnny Depp and Joel Edgerton, and many other actors who you'll recognize, like Benedict Cumberbatch, Kevin Bacon, Dakota Johnson, among others. The story is about really infamous Irish mobster Whitey Bulger, who was one of the biggest crime lords in Boston from the 70s to the 80s. Essentially, he and his longtime childhood buddy, played by Joel Edgerton, named John Connolly, team up together to take down other mobsters for each other's benefit. But in the end, karma is a bitch, and decisions aren't always the best decisions when you're working the FBI and the Mafia together. They don't really mesh that well. Even if they don't happen right away, consequences can occur, and this movie is about the downward, grimy, gritty spiral of these two characters' decisions that ended up becoming their downfall. Black Mass does have some pretty solid hype behind it for multiple reasons. One, it's a mobster movie, and after all the Scorsese Mafia films that have released in the past 20 years, there have been so many of them, and maybe some people have been desensitized by it because you can't do them better than what have been done before, but you could still have some solid movies come out in the genre. This movie is a good one, not a great one, it's okay, it's got redeeming values, but it does have hype because of what I just said, and Johnny Depp is playing a real, true-to-life person, but it's a movie, so he's playing it by his own means, and it's being a little dramatized. And Johnny Depp playing Whitey Bulger has some makeup on him, again. He is the spotlight of the film in general. He's just the biggest plus. His performance is spectacular, and if it doesn't get Oscar attention, I'll be surprised. Under all that makeup does lie a very complex character who we don't learn that much about, but we do see a very gravitating performance from Johnny Depp. And whenever he's on screen, you are glued to him because he's just so unpredictable. He's very intimidating, and that's coming from Johnny Depp, who's played a string of silly characters in the past, so that's saying a lot for him. He's great. There's so many actors in this movie, it's hard to really pinpoint great performances besides Johnny Depp, but everybody plays their roles well in service to Johnny Depp's character, who is at the main frame here. Just a lot of people who you'd be like, oh, I know that guy, and they're in it for a little bit, and they all have Boston accents, and it's crazy. The movie clocks in at just about 2 hours long, and since it's a mafia movie, you know it's going to be a very calculated, serious, dark film, even though in the past we've learned that you don't have to always be super serious with mobster movies, you can have a little fun. This movie is not fun, though. It has moments where characters are having fun, like being crazy, but it's not a particularly fun movie to watch. The film takes itself super seriously, and if you're prepared for that, you may actually find yourself really gripped and engaged within the story. However, given its material, it can become a little monotonous, boring. There are a couple moments where suspense is built to be relieved, and then moments where rockets go off. But just for little brief moments. But for the most part, it's all just building to a bigger conclusion. It's not really a big conclusion, but it makes sense for the story. This is the kind of movie that will not work with all audiences who go to see it, because if you're not engaged in the story, then it's just you're gonna tune out after a while. I was kind of tuning out myself in parts, but overall I was engaged in the story, so it did eventually get back to me. But for a lot of other people I could see, it could become very boring and you could fall asleep. It doesn't have rewatchability. I feel like you watch this movie, it's a one and done. You get what you want out of it. You learn some history about this character, Whitey Bulger, this man, and how sick he was, the things that happened between him and the FBI. But in the end, it's not a movie that you would return to. But yeah, I can't wait to watch Black Mass again. It's a solid resume builder for all the actors involved, and it's definitely going to get some buzz at the Academy Awards. But years from now, I can't see people going like, wow, remember Black Mass? That was such a great, compelling film. It's compelling in its moment, but it's not compelling in the long term, if you know what I mean. It feels like a movie that would be on TNT 5 years from now during Mobster Week while you're having a party and it would be on in the background. However, if it was on cable, they would have to block out the F word like 1,000 times because it is so superfluous in this movie. There's the F word going off everywhere. There's no real reason for all the cursing, but it does help cement you into this Boston location in the atmosphere. But in the end, Black Mass is a one-and-done type of mobster movie that if you return to it, you return to it for the performances from the actors, but there's not much else to see here. It's rich in performances, directing, and cinematography, but if you're a general audience moviegoer, you're not going to want to watch this movie again. However, it's a solid piece if you're looking for something to see in the theaters this weekend, and I would definitely recommend it. I'm going to give this Mafia flick a plate of spicy meatballs. It's a full-course Applebee's meal, 3 out of 5 stars. It's decent. Nothing special, but it's not bad, and it's definitely worth the watch. But now I want to know from you guys, what did you think of Black Mass if you saw it? Let me know in the comments down below. Did you enjoy Johnny Depp's crazy performance? Did you enjoy all the use of the word fuck and motherfucker? If you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and check out the social medias in the info box. I'm John Maffio, aka MaffmanJones, and I just realized that if you had this video on mute and you weren't looking at the title or anything, you would probably think I'm reviewing something Star Wars related because all the Star Wars shit. Minus the Yankees and the MLB hats. I'll see you guys next time. Fuck you.